Hello, this is John Kennedy with the video journal number 8, the third installment of Blacklick Township, this time visiting Twin Rocks, Vintonale as an aside trip, and Eleanor, or the C&I houses. We're now entering Twin Rocks, and we are passing Napik's Tavern. We also quickly got a glimpse of the Pilgrim Holiness Church at the beginning, and now we're just going into downtown Twin Rocks, which is marked by Big Ben School there on our right, and following that there was a glimpse of the post office, that's now the post office, Memorial Park, which was relatively new in 1987 when this was made, the Gal Hotel, and what was the candy store when I was in school there. And further down past the old hotel, the Twin Rocks Hotel, or the Dugan's Hotel, and what was Kicta's store there in the corner when I was in school, and on the right now, the Twin Rocks Theater. Now coming up to St. Timothy and Mark's Roman Catholic Church, which was formerly known as St. Charles, there on the hillside. And driving out of town past my friend Stuart's home when we were palling around together. Past what used to be Rubo's Esso station, and as we turn down the Vintonale Road, you get a glimpse of the Bracken homestead, which is documented quite profusely on the Blacklick Township pages here on the home page. And on Vintonale Road from Twin Rocks to Vintonale, and at this point we're going to skip ahead. Pause the video, Kevin. And here we are coming into my native town where I was born in 1942, Vintonale on Plank Road. Passing the rock dump, which is on the right here, one of the few rock dumps that are left in the valley. I apologize for the frequent footage that's too much in the trees, but after all, my 12-year-old son was hardly able to see through the eyepiece on this old camera, old style video camera. And finally, here we are at the first intersection in Vintonale. Now going through what was downtown Vintonale, where the company store was, or the general stores, Nevi's supermarket, and other stores which still stand but are no longer in use. And at this time in 1987, when this was being taken, the Fireman's Club, which we just now are looking at, and the VFW, which is coming up on our right in a moment, seem to be the most prosperous institutions in downtown Vintonale, being clubs, of course, mostly drinking clubs. And then on the right, we're seeing the First Baptist Church of Vintonale, where I was baptized and was a member before leaving Blacklick Valley to live in New Jersey back in the early 60s. And ahead of us is the bridge, which was under construction then. This was 10 years after the big flood of 1977, but the bridge was just being rebuilt. This was the Hungarian Reformed Church. We're just passing there now. And now over the construction bridge into the lower part of Vintonale. And it's the lower part of town that I was born in and lived in for 4 years, the first 4 years of my life. And it's also in this lower part of town where the Vintonale homecomings are held on the field behind these houses that we're passing on our left at this time, back there. On our previous visit to Vintonale, the boys and I had walked down where the railroad tracks were. The trail had not yet begun there, but the tracks had been removed, and there were a lot of railroad spikes and pieces of railroad metal lying on the roadbed. So we picked up some of the spikes and took them home as souvenirs, some of which we still own. And here, of course, is the old iron furnace, the Eliza furnace, at the end of Vintonale, just at the Indiana county line, Cambria, Indiana county line. A little bit of fancy camera work there as we get out of the car and go take a closer look at the furnace. And then it's back up the same route, back through town. The house that I was born in was a little bit behind us from where we are now. This was Mrs. Colbert's house. If I'm not mistaken. There was a not quite vacant lot there where one of the houses had been torn down, but a lot of the rubble was still standing apparently. Some of the machinery that was used in the reconstruction of the bridge and the levee that was constructed in those years. Better look at the Hungarian Reformed Church now as we go back up. Looks like the road was muddy. There must have been some recent rains. My sons and I had driven all the way across country, so we were riding in our own car on this trip. Haven't done that for quite a while now. When I go, I always fly and rent a car, which is not very often. And passing the Baptist church again. My parents moved to Vintonale in the late 1930s. My brother Gary was also born here in 1938. And when my mother first saw the town, she told us, it made her very depressed because it looked so ugly. A company town with houses with no siding. But when she got to know the people in the town, she loved it. And now we are going up the highway into Nantiglo, and one of the earlier journals uses the footage that was taken just after this, when we arrived into Nantiglo and then drove around town, and there's about 12 minutes of Nantiglo footage in that video journal. But from now we're going to look at the last mile here of Blacklick Township before we go into the borough, and then we'll jump ahead to Cardiff Road and going back out of Blacklick Township. So right up here is the borough line, and we are now going into Nantiglo Borough. And now we're going back out from Nantiglo into Blacklick Township on Cardiff Road toward Eleanor, which was always known by me as the C&I houses. That's what we always called it. Didn't know that it even had the name Eleanor. I've just only learned that in my recent years. But we just passed St. Mary's Cemetery and the Holy Ascension Orthodox Cemetery on our right there. And now we're turning off Cardiff Road into the circle that goes through Eleanor. These houses were, when I was growing up, considered some of the best building and the best looking houses in the whole greater Nantiglo area. They don't look as modern now as they did in those days, of course, 50 years ago and more. And because they were brick houses, most of these don't have the siding that makes a lot of the older houses look modern now by comparison. Now we're going back onto Cardiff Road, back towards Nantiglo, and once more we'll get a view of some of the houses of Blacklick Township in the suburb area of Nantiglo from another approaching from another direction.